Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Leading up to the elections over the years, it has always been about the economy. Said the city, and then she said, "Yeah, be go 2024 election is the only time you go into election. The conversation leading up not about the economy, but something different. But over the years, we are who we are." And I think one of the topics we are the bios because of the management of the economy. And then I think in the end, it didn't turn out well. The economic numbers, the statistics, the indices, everything, were off bar. And that was the reason why Ghana, we got banned or barred from the commercial space to the extent that now you to me issue bond. While Alaska, your credit ratings were so poor to the extent that I can't bono. Now it got to a point in time Kenoforata and his cohort decided to cook the books, presenting fake numbers. And to know more the documents Babon Tinchirakana Yaka, or better IMF at the counter bar. Serious car state agencies in Nasa for Ayano. And your mama ne oni, and then your papa ne oni, Ninina a state. So the numbers were very different. So it got to a point in time there was this uniformity among all these institutions, and no, we will not allow the finance minister to mislead us. So Moki kind who say your debt, that is why the credit ratings from these reputable rating agencies in low. And based on that, nobody will allow you to go to the commercial space to raise a bond. I will be better because of mine would come. We defaulted on their debt obligations, both external and local. And to Robert Kayana Kufado then Krama, Yefenisen, German ambassador about Kruma, minister about Kruma, say Uncle Kanche Yemianum China for say a Kaya Diomono. Those money in about single. It got to a point that domestic a car not yet diamond for a buy for quatil coins a diamond for Sagu Mochi DDEP by a mammy for number of 4-year demonstration and as for on the outside of that whole conversation, there certain dollar and natty break. And a ye but Naba campaign and why you now was centered around controlling of the dollar. I control dollar na bema import ayefo nema bo be conform opesa wo to ade a obetubi ne nasefo no but dollar no teaching enti every single economic indicator statistics off bar into the economy no assuming a certain pace now balance ya na enye the omino was retrogressing on the other side of it chrono akase corruption ada koso sa na ema ya makeka bombing and the fuel, the passion of the average and ordinary Ghanaian to get involved in the 2024 elections. Yeah, quite about to change the stakes. Because by be na year corner. Now one in Sabah. Yeah, twice say yeah kwa. Ghana baba by South Sudan. Ghana baba by or Maya person boating because that was the path we were going. So change during the election was very crucial because the apostles who led that government demonstrated quite clearly. So when it comes to the foresight, they change economic way. Nipana Westgate na yakofana baso omeyi magic economic space no buy no. Or we are now a dan IT teacher. IT teacher. Oh yeah now. Baumia stopped talking about the economy. He was lecturing people on IT when he knows nothing about internet. Your friend is saying this technological kind of way. He knew nothing about it, but he was forced to go that line. He was never holding lectures talking about the economy. The famous one came when a man for Bisa and questions. I was say if the dynamics, your friends the
fundamentals
are weak. Kind of auto papa so down in the caterama. After that particular way, maintaining within the economic space, he was done. A choice and nurse. So economy no course say ya koya na IT and I say ya na we are na your friend the time my and oh hen the symbol na way na Wi-Fi way no more about IT so and then on no say why you know for economic space in now I digital mind
connected.
That is how shameful these characters can be. So when John Mahama took over, people were looking forward. What are you going to do differently? Just to ensure the economy near Titia Pansam, I say no, obey a name. he started with physical discipline by making sure that sika kakra na aka wo maimu no yem westino yem fa pursue fancy fixtures. And the government no kra all set it up no was very narrow. It means cost of your governance and ankasa what is so because minister be a ofana the cost involved running offices and as a so dropping it to 60 no was almost half of what we used to have at the time. So that cost cutting mechanism are buying adopted. And so we have various initiatives. Then the economy, the major one has to do with the dollar. Now the gold board initiative was activated. Dollar because my cash is the only thing a dollar issue to this when you don't have excess, people will be chasing for the few and the price will rise up. So if you have gold board in a year bringing 10 point something billion into the economy, it means that SARS can get profit but it means that the availability of forex within the country that is why your friends at Bloomberg forecast say we were going to in your Bloomberg, right? I think one of the rating agencies, forecast say we were going to end last year 15.5. That is where and the year. Your neighbor is near 9 and the 10 cities against all these things, you break it, and dollar no appreciation, historic. In the last 30 years, dollar no appreciating more than 14%. That was historic. So sad numbers na you achieve we no are translated into everything. Nti ne yesika no the entire debt to say and say so far the last time me try break your debt component chiro say you were the domestic debt component which is in cedis and we have your friends the dollar component which is in dollars. Enti dollar na ya de ehon kakase no. And I'm say a swat by almost way percent in no say a canon who value in Ghana yesika mua because Bank of Ghana transaction be no they use the dollar rate available to do that. So a cana ye kwa kutiana bonteno in terms of CD equivalence I bet drop it. That is why yaka a almost by 100 and something billion.
That's right.
I might debt to your GDP na nananam esrono ebebe we 45%. Now Ghana for a project said we're going to achieve that in about 10 years. Because it's not easy so by achieve that way. But drop it to 45%. A lot of space. A lot of space. And no can who be and I'm the rating agencies national say error writing your note. And again, one of the driving factors are not economy no urging some inflation. Because I'm buying from me betray why it happened. Omo ban na ya yentimi enko floaty bond. Na wuntimi nko bobo siano. Alaska dollar fili na eba.
But dollar they say if amanoni na eba.
Enti no the sources na wudi benya no because say wokota dia you need a dollar. See you try to go kura nya adwuma. So at that time no ebe very difficult for us to get dollar into this particular country. So at that time no government decided say ono abe finance ne nema using Bank of Ghana.
So
Bank of Ghana governor na yere da sorry na o makwatena afidie na chi o mutwagum the we na o modane Bank of Ghana na printing press or body printing scan and the Bank of Ghana to me sorry say bank we ma farm twam okay
that's right
they were your friends saying
sure
cancelling government debt na say for them and they were printing money to finance projects. Yene buy a Bank of Ghana come over 60 billion in the history of this country. I've been see that. In Alaska, excess cash, when you move it into the system, and near my boy ekosro, because cash no boot to the sense of Obia Obi. Alaska said, oh, Sikabi Biru shop, bottom now shop. Now, Kota, then a catcher say, your friends are near one city. No make can bear 10,000 shop, bottom my dear now. Over tobacco, every tobacco, but you end up buying about 5. Sir. You create shortage in terms of the items.
Okay.
This is basic economics.
And so we
know baby. Exactly.
This is
This is basic economics. And the Okosa Okota we won. But Okoya Sikabi show bottom, not a board form no. You end up buying how many? You end up buying bare 5. And in the pound, Benya Sadi Nibiatan, what short your mo? the company is unable to produce to meet the demands. Man for so naturally the company will raise the price. So we are not burden.
Okay.
That is the basic economics. So elimination by rough tactics. So no cost there. Setting where you want to mean to be, then that is the inflation. Because the inflation
that's right.
is the average rise in prices.
Yeah, so. It's only like when the Makotu no about me sketch my Tony.
Yes, and
it's no to swam.
You know, bit me come market or buffy the first price in a cost because demand is very high.
Okay.
Production and me CD the rate at which I'm for. So the pricing need to change. So you eliminate a lot of people. And
inflation and what?
And that is inflation. So the increment, you know, and inflation. And the inflation and drop here and you say it's a price. So no. The average increment, you know, so it can stand at a still. What I say. Right. So those things that happen, yeah. Emma inflation core ya could do 50 because papa in the year that's all scan or two gums are more printed. Or more printed gums scan a book.
I got some machine, mamma.
Yes, not the money in alcohol, and about we Kurahana,
I van.
And I know Jessica, and I'm going to try, and I will try. And you know, scenario no more man, I'm choose to describe it the way
once on the card, on
the fear for Nasa Alaska, inflation, you know, Jigum,
and 54.
And of course, but the projection was that we're going to end a single digit around 9. Anybody else not do 5. Recently, it was 3. What I say. So, Obikacho say economic numbers and then you fluke sanity because some of these things are fake. You can't sustain it, and these economic numbers you can't drive them down yourself because and yet after forcing one baby no quickly the figures. IMF is tracking.
Okay.
Bloomberg is checking the numbers. All the entities out there are checking. We have a statistics department here at the University of Ghana who are also doing their own thing.
That's
and
right.
then we have the Ghana Statistical Board. What I say? So you cannot cook the figures. Because the very moment, that is why Ken Oforata, when he started cooking the figures, he had issue with IMF, World Bank, and then as a forum. But now, what's so be a raising red flag to be cookie figures?
No.
So it's hard that here you can't cook the figures at this time you without getting exposed. So the reality is yes. The economic template, you know, assessment, and my mom reason why I was assessing because changing one of the stakes alone, I say, such as you are making, there are certain move here. With himself, victory is on your way. The very moment you change the dynamics of the dollar alone, no, the whole economic way, no, will move in your favor, and that is the mover. Your fans are to force in the team. Remember the end say our ability to sustain it. That is the most important thing. You understand? Because it can be this, it can turn for a wrong turn. What I say? So how to build sustainability, making sure that we maintain physical discipline. And untina, ya winning for IMF, no. Ya tell us here who say anytime be I ever free IMF biano, we go haywire.
Okay.
Spending a yansa bianim. Now ya broken go. That is why this time round, no, winning off from IMF, no, almost say we are going for some policy partnership, no, assistance, you know, and your monetary finance and non-monetary financing, and your policy assistance.
All right.
Sabaya, oba guide
and don't go here against Chiribia.
Yes, Sabaya, at the IMF, no, muano, but no condition, no responsibility, nothing. But quite how fast I would maintain a physical discipline, no? For the same kind so not maintain physical discipline. Sabaya, I won't trip it off. Because that is what we do. You can go back and check the map. I think somebody did a very nice job. Anytime I ever move from IMF in Alaska, the following year did the 12,000. And yeah, easy. Across a wabrona, aquatena for the assay. Neska show bottom no more yet a pee for fun. Oh, my boy, the umbo be abason, now could do fear and aboons as I am quasi. I'll call we be about aquatena for the other, your fence a table first.
That's right.
I'm about a board dying, giddy now, but I'm a boy, but I could do fear. I was a sound of my school fees now. They told
that's right.
When in now, say Guinness little tiffy when you say about quasi, you my wire. So I think that's 100 here. say yetimi maintain fiscal discipline. I think say right. And then with Bank of Ghana, with MoMo way now way, and yes, me say MPP ne afejo marking. The best that can happen to them is change that guy.
Yes, to change.
Oh yeah. He's a nuisance.
Oh
yes.
Is that the best way?
He has not proven himself I am mature enough to lead the minority. Alaska lion auto, a highly unreasonable, aggressive, and very unintelligent. You can't tax her. No tax can be imposed on a Ghanaian and go through parliament. So for somebody who calls himself a lawyer and a leader of a minority group in parliament, this person in character in question was a majority leader quite few months ago.
17 months ago.
No, but catch you say, the friend say, "Omo introducing levy and not tax her." If not ignorance, then a political idea. So that was something is a nuisance because no tax can be imposed on Ghanaians without going through parliamentary or legislative process.
That's right.
Then as for them. Yes, these entities, Oko MoMo na yakana. MoMo is not 100%. MoMo is different from MTN businesses. MoMo is a financial, belonging to the financial sector.
Good.
Because MoMo no financial activities are cost our MTN platform. So MTN does not own MoMo. Absolute.
Okay.
Your friend saying
they have a platform.
No?
Transmission.
Yes. And Sana Vodafone will be
good.
So they are using their platform. Even though Vodafone, I think MTN Dutch. Yes. And a major stakeholder in that financial way.
Is it fintech?
And a fintech through Ghana stakeholders.
Okay.
And a fintech.
Right.
And several other people. Our platform also. So a MTN absolute ownership of MoMo. So the thing is that once a financial your friend saying
transaction
business and as a way no falling within BOG. So control everything has to. So you cannot unilaterally sit there and pin a price and as I would saying levy at also without going through your regulator.
Good.
What I say. And that is what we need to call them out. And I say you don't have right to unilaterally do this. Now and net tax because if so go to some of the your friend is saying mobile winner obi ha wo to credit ama wo ho e free so wo to ato another network so omote and no net tax or mine no dey within that particular space that is what has been allowed. So some of these things need to go to discussion, but your stakeholder must be in the know. That is why Bank of Ghana was able to issue the directive asking them to drop it for now, because without consultation you can't sit there because won't regulate you. And that thing is different from MTN telecos. This effort within the financial and the fintech environment, which BOG is the regulator. So decision BOG need to be involved. So this particular decision was done without the knowledge of Bank of Ghana, and that's the reason why they've issued this directive. So for a whole minority leader, he's a minority leader for a reason. Yes, now that's kind of minority in mind. Oh yeah,
minority in mind.
That's how you're minority in mind.
I agree more.
Now better can same way. Just the opposition just say can be I am a cancer like saying sometimes some people can. You should remember that Anya Shake Crown School. Also course certificate. One so no, we are catching you.
But look at how I would offer
you see, you don't say things because
you're signing
no Krubenso. Alaska, the politics in a warrior beyond your political party at Churama Sakokano. Also, school, also certificate. A binum so crass almost on your lawyer can and at least these dynamics must override what has been written for you. By a political party when you actually say assemble yes muka monko can we need actually on the platform so no be a copy. And the acquires whether the circumstances SUT, whether the counter argument
the journalist will he left your boy, he left your
that is how damn some of these people are. Now let me hear interview be South Africa for buy Papa Biakoja. I'm say lines of maturamo mono. Yes, they are a minority told a bind say Uncle conform Momra, minority in a catcher a bind say Uncle Boy you and farmer near and say on one bar minority a bind to me take credit. Now minority yana ya can let me see in class politics pa And some of these things happen on media platform. I'm not Ghana, your problem near more. Oh, media. Oh, Alaska. You are a problem. Not everybody do, but I think the media is a problem. And I think say, we are ignorance, not Dawson. And the sad aspect is they don't even know that they are ignorant.
I know they're dangerous, no.
Yes, Alaska, you see, being ignorant, everybody can be ignorant. But to advertise that ignorance on a medium, that is idiocy.
Oh!
Oh, yes. Oh, no, you don't know much of them now, you're ignorant. I don't know. Yes, TV so and the radio. So when you are advertising that ignorance, it is no longer ignorance. It is idiocy.
When is that? I buy one now, not TV or TV radio. So you left your boy. You left. I know about 2-3 years ago. I had your party say bonus. Who got who says and training also be autonomous money.
So he left it for him, because the basic when they say no levy, no Ghanaian can be levied without legislative approval. Without a legislation, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Right.
Even the president of Ghana cannot give a directive or Jessica for Ghana for her with the executive instrument and as for no. You can't do that. You understand? So Alaska and Americano, you don't sit in the media and misinform and now seek to impose one kind of ignorance
on the good people.
On the good people because you have the platform. You shouldn't do that. At least. So you need to respect your listening. Oh, yeah. Well, Alaska, I was today. Yeah, Alaska.
I don't know all kind of sort of what's I will walk out.
Say war. Alaska, because if you are paid to disgrace yourself,
if you are paid
to say Guanimasia, Alaska. Yes, a question you take here, the year feature, my
president.
Umoko ni fiano pana, what to Guinness on Cocrafono, Cofamo, Nomna Quasi, why I did not Quasi with you also be mad. Oh, Quasi with you when you Papa, if 4 months for Bobby a fool, Guinness about corn, 1 far ornamenty. Oh, Quasi, why say, oh, Quasi, why say. No mudia branti na from say banyan and na wie ye
abamu kokra Guinness ni bi ma
okwa na so nya ya no bi atwe ne ho free ne ho. That is how they are, you understand? But this is a gentleman who had a very good prospect.
Oh,
because Nyantechi was a very smart, intelligent guy. All that he needed was a guidance. Somebody will be me guide no.
Now what down for ni na do?
I catch and say baby a ugina yi.
Na for no wafa
24. Na ye say baby a onkoyi no. Buana kasa bi wo ho ka enkoye una be 24. Ba ye de say ye be di wachi single praises. No sa na ma na ye mu binum ye nim ya. Ye de ye baby no. Because the last thing I will do is to praise people for the nonsense that they do. Never.
Right.
We don't do that. All that we do is to get the things done right. That
was Ivan Kyei Innocent and attending Kano. Alan Bebemba T. Adia Fatima.
Mamina Wajina one say Bibi
Mamina PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.